If you love 4K 120Hz native, you're gonna love smooth motion gaming with GameMotion Plus. You're gonna love it. You're gonna want it. You're gonna need it because you just said it. You just love 4K 120Hz. Either you said it out loud or you said it in your mind just now when I asked you. You're gonna want it. If you don't care for 4K 120Hz gaming, then you don't care for HDMI 2.1, then you don't care for smooth motion gaming. Then you're happy at 4K 60, more power to you. But if you play on PC, if you love 4K 120Hz, why wouldn't you want any of your games on 360, on PlayStation 3, on PlayStation 2, on PlayStation? Listen to me, friends. Why wouldn't you want that to look like 4K 120Hz? That smoothness, that clarity that you get. It's awesome with the lowest amount of input lag. Why wouldn't you want that? It blows my mind to think many people don't know what it truly does and the benefits of having it. It's a clearer image, not just smoothest. It's clearer than a judder, stutter, nasty looking panel without any of that does. If you like the technology or you don't, it doesn't matter. Technology is technology. Clear is clear, smooth is smooth, and the Samsung wins. Hi friends and welcome to Viktors Reality. Today we'll be taking a look at the QN90A's game mode with GameMotion Plus on, with the Samsung software and hardware with its Motion Accelerator Turbo Plus processing. Let's get into it. Now again here, the QN90A versus the Hisense U8G. Many TV reviewers also on the U8G. It looked promising, it looked really nice, but there is no way, I laugh because there is no way the U8G beats or comes close to the QN90A on anything, on black levels, on brightness, on contrast. Even though they say otherwise, the Hisense U8G cannot touch the quality and beautiness of the QN90A. And again, we're going to look at here at 4K 60Hz with GameMotion smoothness 101.4 milliseconds on the U8G versus 20.8 milliseconds on the QN90A. Again, friends, 80 millisecond difference. That is crazy. Anything above 100 is totally unplayable, while 80 is still doable, especially on the LGs, which we're going to turn into now. Now, for this part of the video, I do have this set up to see the C9, C10, C1, and the Sony A90J because these are all OLED technologies. And I wanted to prove to you and show you OLED is not the problem. That's a beautiful, beautiful technology, and I can't wait to get it myself here. It's the motion processing in these TVs. It's a Sony problem, as the LGs are getting better year by year. You can see right here, 4K 60Hz with interpolation on the C9, 96.7 milliseconds. That's borderline unplayable. 100 milliseconds, like I told you, is unplayable. Then we jump to the C10 at 92.9. It's getting better, but not quite. The C1, which many of you have right now, look how drastic it drops down to 84.4 milliseconds. This puts it in line with my Sony X850C, which is playable. It's borderline still, but it's doable. I've been doing it for the last 5 years before I got the QN90A. So I'm happy to see these new processors with true motion of the LGs getting better. And I hope that the C2 will even drop it down even further. I'm not expecting miracles, but I'm expecting 80 to under sub 70 milliseconds with its alpha line of processors. Of course, any tricks that they can do. Remember, friends, 4K 120Hz, they're all even. You can see 4K 120Hz on the C10, 6.7 milliseconds. On the C1, 5.3 milliseconds, just like the Samsung QN90A. But look at 4K 120Hz on the A90J. It's 14.7 milliseconds. Why is that, friends? What is the problem with Sony and their processing? It's about triple the milliseconds. 5.3 on the C1 to 14.7 is close to about 3 times the latency you would get. Now you're gonna tell me, oh, you really can't tell. You know what? This is a versus video section of this video. If they were all the same, if OLED was the same on every single panel, we wouldn't be having this discussion. I'm showing you there are differences. Why does it take Sony's processing to process the picture at native 4K 120Hz over 3 times the LG OLEDs? Over 3 times the Samsung's mini LED technology? Why? It's the Sony picture processing. And this is not even with GameMotion on. This is just native 4K 120Hz. Explain to me why 5.3 to 14.7 is not referenced enough on these reviewers who are showcasing these TVs. It's because they're hiding, they're showing, and they're displaying the Sony agenda. And you can easily see it when you see numbers like this. And I'm gonna tell you right now, the LG OLED technology is awesome. The Sony OLED technology is awesome. But this video is specifically to show you smooth motion gaming. And even if we take out smooth motion gaming, you can see right here, 5.3 milliseconds versus 14.7 milliseconds. C1 versus A90J. Why isn't anyone talking about that? Because buyer's remorse, I guess. They buy something and they're stuck with it and they're trying to push that agenda. I say agenda, friends, because that's what's going on. Mini LED versus OLED is one thing. And then we go with OLED panel technology where LG versus Sony, getting kind of ridiculous. There's better things to argue about. There's better things to prove your point. Give the people the facts. Give people the numbers so they can make up their mind. But don't tell me the A90J is the holy grail of TVs when you have the slowest and dumbest interpolation of smooth motion gaming on the A90J. And you have about 3 times the latency of a native 4K 120Hz signal from the Mini LED QN90A or the LG C1. It's ridiculous, no one talks about it. Glad you found this channel because I will always bring that to everyone's attention. Okay friends, so with that part out of the way, I'm going to be showing you gameplay video of all modes on the QN90A. Again friends, when I do versus videos, there's a difference when you do versus videos. You just can't show every single monitor, every single TV, every single cell phone and say it's better than the last one just because you bought it, just because you got it for free from a certain sponsor or manufacturer. I've seen that countless times and it's ridiculous. And I will have a new attitude maybe, and I might come out more negative in a sense, agitated, frustrated if you want to call it, but it's all to give you the truth. It's all to give you my honest opinion, but with facts. So you can see what I'm talking about, as I don't see anyone on YouTube bring information like this. And that's what I want to be able to do. Bring you information that no one else is doing, that everyone is trying to hide from. They're trying to push a certain brand, technology, or panel. You can see your game motion off, on, and dynamic preset. And the thing is with these smooth motions on the Samsungs, dynamic preset will give you that soap opera effect that many people talk about. There is a soap opera effect. There is with dynamic preset. But with game motion on at 10 blur and 10 judder reduction, there is no soap opera effect because it's really subdued with the motion. It does its best to give you that interpolated look. It's not introducing soap opera effect, and it's not going to give you nearly as many artifacts as dynamic mode would. And that's the whole point of game mode, is to give you the lowest amount of input lag in the picture. So they can't give you smooth motion while introducing triple, quadruple the input lag. Just doesn't work that way. It goes from 9.8 to 20.8. It's about 11 milliseconds introduced on input lag, but you get the best smooth motion gaming on the market today. And it works at 30 frames and it does work at 60 frames. I play a lot of Forza, I play a lot of first-person shooters. I need to enable it at 4K 60. I'm prone to seeing it, I'm really delicate, I'm really picky. I can see it and I need it because I cannot play 4K 60 regularly. I come from the PC, I play at 240 Hz every single time on my Samsung G7 32-inch monitor. So imagine that, 240 Hz to 60 is a drastic difference. I can see every smooth motion option if enabled, if disabled. That's why I make this a big thing, because I'm always at 240 Hz. I'm always at 165 Hz on my Dell monitors also, or at 4K 144 Hz on the Samsung G70A. I am playing at higher frame rates than a standard console person at 30 frames at 60 frames. So when I see an option that I can enable 60 Hz smooth motion that interpolates it to 120-ish, I can see it and I'm happy I can experience it. If you don't have a high-end PC, you won't know what I'm talking about because you've only seen 30 frames per second. You've only seen 60 frames per second. You don't know anything better. You don't know there is anything higher. And when you get an OLED or even a regular TV and you just enable 4K 60, it's still amazing to you, but there is better. That's the thing. There is a smoother, awesomer picture in this Samsung Neo QLED lineup. And the thing is, they're only getting better. That's what's awesome. Next year's TVs are going to even be better, and that's going to be cool. I really do hope Sony does introduce some kind of gaming mode with smooth motion and it improves it. If they can get it down to 80 milliseconds, I'll change my tune. But at 140 plus, it's disgusting. And that's the word. It's trash. It's disgusting. Sony A80J and A90J TVs are trash for smooth motion gaming. Yes, I said it here. I know I'm gonna get some feedback for that because everyone is pushing those TVs. But I don't care. I'm gonna tell you the facts. I'm gonna tell you like it is. Sony OLEDs are trash for smooth motion gaming. And if you can't understand the word smooth motion gaming of what this video is, I can't help you because that's why you're here. You're here listening to smooth motion gaming and what it does and what it can bring to the picture. And with input latency of the Sonys, it's disgusting. So here what I have is dynamic smooth motion at 76.6 milliseconds versus game mode with game motion off at 9.8. Trying to show you how it looks with soap opera effect-ish effects. That's what's going on here. Everyone says that word, and yes, that is increased, that is viewable with dynamic motion on the Samsung TVs. You can see here, the smooth motion just looks next gen. It looks 120, 240 Hz-ish, again, all through software, but there are more artifacts than in game mode with Game Motion Plus when you're on regular smooth motion. But again, you can see the input latency is increased drastically. And if you're a gamer and you want to play in game mode, of course, that's why you have it. And if you're a gamer, you're not going to want to play it in this way. You're going to want to play it with game motion on. As even though it looks beautiful, and you can do it if you want, that's the thing, you can have that option. The 70.6 milliseconds of dynamic smooth motion is comparable to the LG C1. So this is what you would be getting. I would say it's a buy with the LG C1 lineup. Hopefully C2 will also make it even better. But dynamic smooth motion will introduce soap opera effect on the QN90A, and the true motion equivalent will introduce it also. But if you want your ticket to smooth motion gaming, that's the best you can get with game motion off or game mode off. And just showing you here and comparing it to the Samsung game mode on, motion off. So you can see smooth motion is elevated. Now let's go here to game motion plus on at 20.8 versus dynamic on, game mode off at 76.6. And you can see the difference because on the left, I always have the game bar with game motion plus on so you can see the information in case you don't believe the numbers. But again, it's more soap opera effect-ish on the dynamic preset. You can see the colors are enhanced on the dynamic. The contrast looks better. The blacks look blacker. The brightness seems about the same. The local dimming seems about the same in my eyes, but the image does look better on the dynamic, but with that increased input latency. Again, because the picture has to process more and it has to take more time to do it and give you that amazing picture. But you get the best of both worlds by having game motion on with that smoothness at 10 and 10 of judder and blur to get you closer to that awesome smoothness picture. Here I have various scenes on slow motion. I'm trying to show you if there are any artifacts and or how smooth the picture looks if it looks soap opera effect-ish. But you can see, I mean, I've blind tested this with other people and they've been easily able to see, yes, dynamic looks better, but when you put the controller in your hand, you're not going to appreciate that picture with those buttons not being spot on at 5.3, 5.8, 9.8, 20.8. Once you go into plus 50 sub millisecond territory, 80 is borderline, like I've said before. 100 above is unplayable. My Sharp LE650 is unplayable at 120, 125 milliseconds on Forza. It would be disgusting on the Sonys. Again, I'm not trashing a specific brand. I'm just giving you my take and proof with numbers on technologies. If Sony makes the A90K next year example, if they make it with a better motion processing for smooth motion gaming, I'll jump on board of it and I'll give you that information and tell you the truth. But right now, again, if you have that Sony TV, enable it and you'll see what I'm talking about. And if you're gonna say, well, I would never enable smooth motion gaming, then why are you watching this video? There's no point of watching this video. Don't watch any further because that's the whole point of what I'm trying to explain. Smooth motion gaming is where it's at. It elevates your picture. Don't get mad at me, bro, that your TV can't do it. So again, friends, I hope this video brought some more information to you on what smooth motion gaming does and how it looks with it off, with it on, and versus dynamic. It all is about your preference. If you don't like it, then don't enable it. It's awesome to have it. I gotta show you the differences with it on. I always have it on. I have it on everything. I do have dynamic on when I watch my Netflix movies. Again, That's my personal preference. I love it, and I have gotten many comments that they didn't know about it and that they see it, and it's awesome. And if you are having problems, again, this channel has always been about helping. Make sure you update your TV to the latest firmware, as the current firmware of 1901 seems to be fixing many local dimming gaming mode on and off problems, also with interpolation at 30 frames and 60 frames. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. There are many channels out there that are giving false information. Also with smooth motion gaming, I've asked a couple to see what they say on 30 frames per second, and they always say no, 30 frames per second does not have any smooth motion. Again, misinformed. It's unfortunate, but it happens. So update your TV to the latest firmware so you can get the best picture possible. I have not heard any negative complaints against the 1901 update. It has fixed many issues of prior situations. I actually believe the first firmware when I got the TV was the best, and then I updated it. It did not fix some issues. It introduced latency, in my opinion. That's why if you notice my videos, I stopped making some videos because I was unhappy with the quality. And of course, I'm never going to show you something when they update something. I'm never going to show you it and promote it because it's trash. Even my QN90A on the second update introduced input latency for me on my gaming and my movies. I could see it. There was some kind of lip syncing issue that it introduced, and I didn't make a video of it. I know this has been a while since August when I updated it. And then there was another update, and then there's this newest 1901 update, which I have no complaints, and I will show you a video on how to update it manually and over the air. But that seems to have fixed all the issues that many have complained, either here in the comments or in other channels. So it goes to show that even with the Samsung Neo QLED TVs, just like the monitors, you got to be very careful when you're updating a firmware. I would say if it's not broken, don't fix it. Don't update it if you are completely satisfied with what you're seeing. If I would have known the second update would have broken what I had before, which was the vanilla firmware, I would have never updated it because everything I needed it to do worked. That's why I made my videos showing you how awesome that TV is. But again, friends, if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. Of course, I will get to it as soon as possible. Friends, again, if you're still watching this video, if you're still here, thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you for taking the time to look into this video and this option of smooth motion gaming. I am not saying OLED is trash. I'm not saying Sony is trash. I'm saying this year's lineup of TVs, the current technology, the current processors that they're using are trash. Numbers don't lie. Experience doesn't lie. And I'm telling you and giving you that information so you can make an awesome buying decision. If you love 4K 120Hz native, you're going to love smooth motion gaming with Game Motion Plus. You're going to love it. You're going to want it. You're going to need it because you just said it. You just love 4K 120Hz. Either you said it out loud or you said it in your mind just now when I asked you. You're going to want it. If you don't care for 4K 120Hz gaming, then you don't care for HDMI 2.1, then you don't care for smooth motion gaming. And you're happy at 4K 60, more power to you, and you can call it a day because that's it. You don't need anything. Don't fix what's not broken, right? But if you play on PC, if you love 4K 120Hz, why wouldn't you want any of your games on 360, on PlayStation 3, on PlayStation 2, on PlayStation? Listen to me, friends. Why wouldn't you want that to look like 4K 120Hz? That smoothness, that clarity that you get. It's awesome with the lowest amount of input lag. Why wouldn't you want that? It blows my mind to think many people don't know what it truly does and the benefits of having it. It's a clearer image, not just smoothest. It's clearer than a judder, stutter, nasty looking OLED panel without any of that does. If you like the technology or you don't, it doesn't matter. Technology is technology. Clear is clear, smooth is smooth, and the Samsung wins. So friends, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did find it helpful, please leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on that notification bell so you never miss out on the future Samsung Neo QLED QN90A or successor TV coming in the future. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you guys next time.